Hey, Middle-aged gamers, it is Antoine and myself today. As you know, Adam is busy occupied with his mother-in-law's birthday or some family member's birthday today, if I don't remember. But you will see him and Antoine on Tuesday. I guess, though, this is recording for the last week of December, so it's all mixed up. On today's pre-recorded episode, we're talking about gaming controversies that happened in 2024, and there were a lot. So if we left something out, just comment down below and let us know what we didn't talk about. I mean, we could happily do a thread or something on Blue Sky about it. I'd happily take care of that. But Antoine and I chose three different stories, and I mean, there's a lot to go on here. And these are you know me, you know Antoine, you know what he believes, what I believe. So you can kind of expect what's gonna come, but maybe we'll surprise you. Antoine, take us away with story number one.
Yeah, actually, I took two stories because my first one is going to be a bit long. But a little disclaimer, because we decided to do controversies, so it's basically we decided to spark the fires of war for your holidays. Thank you very much. It's okay, we like it. And with this, it's gonna spark lots of comments. And there you. It's gonna spark a lot of comments. That's fine. You can tell me that I'm completely wrong over and over. I'm fine with this. Just remember, do it politely. If I see the first bad word or anything in the comments, your comment is deleted. So you can no need to write it in the first place. And with this said, please like, comment, and share this video because it's gonna be fun to see the reactions. I just can't wait. Even advertisement. It's really just for my own giggles. And I'm gonna talk about Stellar Blade versus Concord. So it's kind of two story in one, which is why I took. Sorry, but you're gonna see my point. So Stellar Blade, I think January 2024. Usually I write this kind of stuff, but today I decided to go without notes. But pretty sure it's 2024, early 2024 game. And there was this big controversy about Eve does not represent us. She's far too sexy. Look at the outfit she wears. Remember, there was this. I never I never knew. Sorry, my English is terrible, but I never knew if it was real or not. This controversy about the fact that she had one of these outfits with too much cleavage, and then the developers had to cover the cleavage after that, which always seemed fake to me because if you think that outfit is a problem, you haven't seen the other ones. But that's fine, right? And there was this big controversy about this lady doesn't represent us. Who is us? Have you gone to Asia recently? Right? Because I'm gonna ask, Korean and Adam because I live in Taiwan. I haven't been in Asia in quite a while, but I used to go a lot before I had kids, which was, yes, like 15 years ago. But bizarre. But yes, the ratio of overweight women in Asia is not that big because, you know what, they don't live in a McDonald's, Burger King, etc. society. So typically here, this controversy, I see Cran's laughing already. I told you it's gonna be fun. So who's sparking this controversy? I call it the community of insecure people. I don't like going woke or anything. It doesn't reflect, and I don't like this word, but for me, it's really the insecure people. Oh my God, this lady is far too pretty. This is gonna be a shy game. So let me tell you what, this game, Stellar Blade, worked extremely well. Not because Eve is pretty, or I'm sure that it worked, right? We guys prefer to play with a pretty girl, of course, but because the game was fun. Just look at Adam playing it. He really, really loved it. The gameplay is fun. The story is fun. There's more to the story that you might think. And on this, I'll ask you to go check Adam's video, which is working very well because, he's looking behind every story. It's very based on the religious aspect. So this whole game, Stellar Blade, was put into the crosshair of some insecure people because Eve is too pretty. That's not the point of the game. You missed it completely. And because of this, you gave it some advertisement. Because remember the saying, right? If you did marketing school, bad advertisement is still advertisement. And I'm going to come back on this on my second story. But still, Stellar Blade worked very, very well for a Korean game that no one was expected. And see, that's because I didn't took notes. I know I wanted to talk about more stuff, but fair enough. at this time, let's stay on this. So, Eve pretty doesn't make a game bad, right? And on the other side, you have Concord, which went the old Netflix way about you guys want not so pretty people. I'm gonna use the word even though I hate it, but you want a woke game? It crashed in fires and flames 2 weeks after the launch. And who was it? Like EA, right? Or Ubisoft? I can't remember. One or the other.
Sony.
Yeah, Korean, do you remember? So Sony. Oh, I was completely out. Anyway, so Sony had to even pay back people who bought it. It was just that bad. And was it because Concord was a bad game? For the reviews that I saw, the gameplay was actually quite solid. It's a hero shooter, so maybe the genre is not what people want, which I actually think is one of the reasons why the game didn't work. But everybody concentrates on, hey, look, that fat, short lady, she looks absolutely horrible. Of course we don't want to buy this game. Really? That's why you don't want to buy a game? Well, then don't complain that people, developers who spend millions of dollars and years of their life making game want to make a pretty hero, because we are playing video games to escape reality, to have fun. We are playing heroes, so it's fine for them to be unrealistic because we don't want them to be realistic, right? So Stellarblade work, Concord crash, make it what you want. For me, that's my case. You can yell as much as you want about your insecurities. That's not what's gonna make a game work or not. On the contrary, exactly on the contrary, you're just gonna make more advertisement about the one you don't like. Concord, there was no marketing at all on it. Like, I didn't even knew it was out, and I think a lot of people weren't even aware it was out. And that's crazy, because that's quite the wealthy project and new IP, from Sony. So, well, please tell me in the comments what you think. I just can't wait to see what you're gonna say. Korean, do you have any comments, or do you want to go straight to your next story?
I mean, your story connects to my story because I found an article by a journalist. His name is, and I'm looking at the wrong notes, Paul Tassi, and he wrote about why anti-woke lost, right? And he mentions Concord, and I'll give you the notes that he mentions about Concord, right? He says, people perceived Concord to fail because of pronouns, because of not attractive characters. He says he makes like two really good points, right? Concord started development after Overwatch became successful. That is 8 years ago, right? So it was the wrong time, right? To spend 8 years building an Overwatch-like game and then release it in 2024 when everyone is shifting to free-to-play hero shooters, right? Like Marvel Rivals, which just came out, which is number 3 on Steam today, right? Totally free, don't need to pay any money. I mean, based on the Marvel franchise, and still, despite being based off Marvel, still not the number 1 shooter, right? And hero shooters are just not there anymore. People are playing, because I started playing this morning Path of Exile 2, and 328,000 people on Twitch watching that. Number 2, Marvel Rivals, 80,000. So that tells you like the hero shooter genre is not what it used to be. The third point that he makes, right, is just like you said, right? Like Crane said, it was a solid game, but solid is like a 65 out of 100, right? Not a great game. So as much as people like to say, hey, this game didn't work because these characters were not the ideal pretty characters or didn't have something else, it was an old game based on old aesthetics. And I'll definitely give you the fact, yes, poor marketing. And Sony probably knew that, which is why they didn't put any money into the marketing budget, right? So I think that's why Concord failed. On the second point in Eve, right, like women game a lot, like you'd be surprised. And I mean, imagine if we were playing a game and we had to play a game like Stellarblade, but it was Stella Adam and you just saw a dude in the sexiest costume and you didn't have a chance. You don't want to look at this person, right? But if you want to play the game, you have to look at this person, and it's not cool. As a woman, and again, I'm not a woman, But I remember when I was teaching computer science to like 5th and 6th grade elementary school kids, and we had 2 girls in a class, and every level, every semester, the girls would just drop off because all the boys wanted to make games about like shooting and jumping and fighting and soul collection. The girls wanted to make dress up stuff, right? And the character creation tools, and like we the last semester we taught Roblox. The tools in Roblox for girls is actually not as expansive as the tools for boys. So I mean, to me, I understand the dislike of Stellar Blade. Like, forget the religious perspective. Oh my God, she's not wearing enough clothes. Fine, but I think I understand why women said, yeah, she's not a real woman, right? Like, it's fine, and like you mentioned, living in Asia, yes, you do see all these cartoons and loads of anime of disproportionate women, unrealistic women, and yeah, while it doesn't bother women here, there's definitely a Chinese word for it for that. That's, I don't know if you want to say anything else about that.
A couple of stuff. First of all, I never heard anyone complaining that Kratos has too many abs. Kratos is not very realistic, right? That's fine. We're perfectly fine with it, because I'd rather play Kratos, or if you want to be inclusive, I'd rather play Barrett, this black god 2 meter tall with a big gun arm. That's charismatic, right? That has charisma rather than Fat Tony pizza in hand, right? Fine with that. Because I want to play a hero. I want to play someone who inspires me. That's the whole thing. Someone realistic does not inspire me because he's realistic. That's it. And also, on the topic of controversy, and that's where I'm going to get shut down, that's perfect. On the topic of controversy, for me, controversy doesn't help anyone anywhere. Not the game, not the community, nothing. Because it's, when we talk about the one you yell the most as the little percentage on top of the population, right? And there's a 99% silent population who actually decide, well, I'm going to break my rule again. I don't like to talk about politics, but, there's a country not far from here where the choice between, this black lady or this billionaire old white guy thrice impeached criminal, actually. And they had to choose between both. Who did they choose?
Trump.
And don't tell me it's all about the program, please. So, I tried not to make names.
That's fine. No.
Everybody understand. But, like, that's you can be very vocal about it. That doesn't mean people listen to you. Of course, it helps. And, like, you can yell as much as you want, and it's going to go on Game Round, on some, like, gaming website. But it's never going to go into The Guardian or some real... I'm sorry about Game Round. It's not like you're not a real news, right? But you're very niche news specific on video games. So that's what I mean. It's not going to be retaken, and you're not going to have a parade on in September, it's not... You have a gay pride, and you have the video game community pride, whatever. Yeah, I'm getting lost there. Please help me.
I mean, I see your point, and I kind of agree. Like making something really big out of this doesn't help, but I think there's no other choice. Like, how do you make gaming more representative, right? How do you make it for... And I think some games do this, like you saw it with Dragon Age Veilguard released their character creator as a standalone game, right? Because people want to make characters, and there's a large population of people. Like, I want to make someone who looks like me. Like, when I played Disney's Dreamlight Valley, I made brown, darker than I am, or maybe that's how I perceive myself, short white hair, skinny arms, skinny legs, but a little bit of a belly from all the cake and chocolate, and that's my character, right? And that's...
Yeah. Okay. No, I understand that that's very different in the fact that here you have character creation compared to other games like Eve, where it's a set character. Definitely, if I have a character creation, I'm gonna try to get, like either someone like me or someone completely stupid, like in Final Fantasy XIV. I had a big blue Rogadin barb just because I saw this was extremely funny. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, if you can choose a character, you're gonna try to get something which looks like you because you want to get yourself represented in the game, right? You want to be the hero. I want to be the hero. Of course, I want to be the hero. But that is if I have a choice to choose and to make my hero, right? In the case of Eve, said character, you don't really have a choice. If I don't really have a choice, I want to play Eve or Kratos because, God, they are charismatic, right? I want to play them.
For sure, no, and you make a good point, right? Like, I mean, that's the difference, right? But I think, particularly in the Stellar Blade story, people, or maybe not even people, like women, there's a lady podcaster. She used to be a politician in Massachusetts, where I lived in America, and she was like, like she's like a big gamer and a speed runner, and she's one of the people who complained about this, and I was like, yeah, I kind of get it, like, but at the same time, like, it's just, I think it's at some point you just like explode, like, hey, this is the 126th game of a out of proportion woman that I have to play and see this woman, and I'm not interested in women, fine. So now I have to watch this person running around and fighting, and yes, of course you don't have to buy the game, right? But then it's just like, it's like watching the 150th movie of a white guy saving the world, right? Like, it's kind of tiring, as a person of color. Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought you were talking about Marvel for a second. Oh my God. Sorry. Jesus, I had some flashback. Oh, and yes, sorry, just one last point on Eve. On Eve, same as I think it was 2B in Nier Automata. All the controversies started before even knowing that these perfect out of proportion girls are not even girls. They're robots, androids. They were built. Why are you complaining about that? Because you don't care what's behind. You just want to care about your own thoughts.
Good point. I'll give you that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the comments are gonna be all flowery and Pepsi.
We could compete with on Adam's video, right? I'm sure with the right thumbnail, woke versus anti-woke. Oh God, I can imagine thousands of views on this video.
That'd be great, but Adam is too good for us, I think.
We'll have to see.
He has the face.
He does have the voice. I will give you that. So as I alluded to in my story, the story I want to talk about was the opposite side of this, right? And again, referencing the article in Forbes by Paul Tassi, a senior contributor at Forbes, he goes to say, hey, this is what, and I've talked about this on the channel before, like you go on Instagram, again, more like a left-leaning Instagram. They're like, hey, here's this game, and this is what people are complaining about, that it's like DEI and woke. I even saw this about Microsoft Flight Simulator is now a woke game, according to the website like wokedetector.com, right? If you can believe that stuff, that's ridiculous. But he gives some examples, right? So he says, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. He was like, this game failed because it was woke. And he makes a really good point, right? Like, Suicide Squad failed because Rocksteady's 3 games, all the Batman games, were single-player games. And then they decided to go with a live service game. So, of course, it's going to fail when you condition your audience to play single-player games. You're like, hey, let's switch it up and make a multiplayer game because we know you guys love multiplayer. That's why you bought our last 3 games. And I was like, oh, damn, that is so right. And then it was just like weird concepts, right? Like, I watched a few previews of the game and was like, hey, all these guys can fly. And then in the comic books, how the hell does a big freaking shark fly? No, doesn't fly, right? How does Harley Quinn fly? Nope, also Harley Quinn doesn't fly. How does Deadshot fly? Nope, Deadshot doesn't fly as well, right? Low critic scores. And it like, I mean, they had like $100 skin or something the other day. It makes sense, right? This game failed because of its own merits, not because of woke or have seen the gay pride flag somewhere, a lot of places in the game. But talked about Concord already. He mentions a TV show. Oh, there's a Stellar Blade, right? We'll talk about that. Helldivers 2, right? People said, hey, this game is successful because it is anti-woke. They mentioned the entire game, right? Again, I think Adam and Antoine talked about this being based on Starship Troopers, and I never watched the movie. Starship Troopers was clearly a parody of stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
It was definitely the parody of the perfect society. It presents as a perfect society when it's actually a completely totalitarian state with very good marketing. Join us.
Yeah. So they they list a bunch of examples. I'm going to include this article in the video, also in my own video as well, that I'm going to do at some other point. I mean, just on a few notes here, it's just like this whole thing, right? And I've seen, I mentioned this to the guys, that I'm worried about, you know, not repeals, but like more like right-wing gaming and stuff, and more laws about all of this stuff. And to me, it's just like, the world has come so forward. Like, if you're a boy and you want to be a girl, and that's cool, right? If you want a girl and you want to be a boy, that's also cool. And you want to marry each other, fine. And then now we're going backwards, right? Where people are like, oh my God, I'm tired of this stuff. I don't want to see people of color. And I saw Elon Musk posted a video about immigrants robbing a store in England, which is probably only half the story. And then, of course, we're like so against immigrants. And it's just, to me, as somebody who grew up, right, not seeing a person of color ever in the first 12 years of my life, because I didn't know South Africa existed in a place where brown people were in a place, and black people were in a place, and white people were in a place. And I went to an all-white school, right, where I was the 4 people of color in the entire freaking school. That sucked. It was terrible. And I'm glad I'm in a place like Taiwan where everyone's accepting. But I want more woke games. I want more woke culture. I want more representation in games. I want, I mean, it's like playing a game like Coral Island, right? Like, you see all the different kinds of people, and you see, you know, cis men and cis women and that sort of stuff. And it's, to me, it's kind of, it makes me feel sad in a way that gaming has come to the point where people are rebelling against someone sharing the opinion. People are rebelling against inclusiveness in game, which is ridiculous, because I've been alive for 41 years, almost going to be 42 years in 3 weeks. And it feels like the world is going backwards in some ways. And it's controversial, I'll give you that. But I think, like, going back to Antoine's point, we can still make games like Stellar Blade, but the games, all games should have choices, right? For a man, for a woman, whatever it is. If it costs more money, it costs more money, right? And this Kickstarter and stuff, I don't know. But yeah, that is my point for today.
What I was going to say, I think there's a big problem with the woke movement, in the fact that it's not the fact that they are wrong on anything. It's not what I'm saying, right? Just saying it right away. Is that it's not done right. If you want something to stick, you have to do it cleverly. Examples. Ghostbusters, the whole female cast. It was made only because they wanted to replace the Ghostbusters with female cast. Was it a great movie? It was shite. Why? Because the story was bad, the acting was horrendous, everything was bad about this movie. But it's not because it was a female cast. You could have made a good movie with a female cast. They just rebooted the license. It could have been a whole female cast. There's actually a female in the Ghostbuster now. It's just because it was made wrong. It wasn't thought of. They just saw, let's make it like this because we want to see strong female. You have very strong female in lots of license. You know, like everybody was criticizing, yeah, you don't like Rey in Star Wars because she's a female. How many strong female characters you love in Star Wars, starting with Leia? Plenty. Rey wasn't written properly, and that's it. When you see, and that's a future controversy, you know, right? When you see How to Train Your Dragon, Netflix are champions on this. How to Train Your Dragon, Nordics people, you know, white, yellow hair, Nordics, Norwegian, right? You can't do, you know, I know that logic sometimes escape people, but when you're in Africa with big sun, strong, you know, you need to protect your skin, and then, of course, you become colored. If you are in the deep north, it's cold, and you have very little sun, of course, you're going to be pale as a ghost. Ask the Irish. I lived in Ireland. I can tell you, right? That's simple logic. How to Train Your Dragon. How do you represent the Vikings or whatever with a black actress? I have nothing against that right away, but I find it insulting for the Nordic culture. I'm not offended by it. I'm seeing this, I'm like, Netflix did it again. Congrats! You did it! And that's stupid. And I have nothing against the actress. This actress was absolutely fantastic in The Last of Us because in the game she was white. In the show she was not. I don't think she's black, right? Ellie? I'm not even sure. Anyway,
Ellie is white.
it's all about the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ellie's white in the show. Oh Jesus. Okay, so skip this from the from the start. I'm gonna take another example. It all depends on who you represent. If you make a game, okay, let's talk about The Last of Us. The Last of Us is in the US. In a game, she's white. You can make her in a show. You can make her black. You can make her Native American. It wouldn't shock me because it's normal. In the US, you have this melting pot. You can make it. You can make her Indian. You can make her whatever you want. It fits. It's normal. In a Nordic village recluded on a cliff, that's not normal. You know, like a lot of people talked about, I'm going to keep... Can I go into a next story? Can I keep it?
Go.
Because I want to talk in this very same thing. I want to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadow, right? And the fact that you have this black samurai called Yasuke. And a lot of people are saying, it's stupid because he's black. No, it's not stupid because he's black. Because historically, yes, there was a black guy in Japan at that time. Because I believe he came as, and I'm sorry about this, but he came as a slave or an attendant to a Portuguese delegation. And at the time, the small Japanese saw this big black guy and they were like, I've never seen that in my life. And he was offered as a present to a shogunate. After did he become samurai or something? I have no clue because I don't know about his life. But that's not the problem. And people just focus on, he's a black giant in Japan. Yes, I was a big black guy in Japan. Don't be shocked about this. What's shocking is more the theme of the game. You're an assassin. You can't play a 2 meters black guy in a small whitish, yellowish, sorry, I don't know how you say this, country and say, this guy is completely inconspicuous. He could go anywhere and do whatever he wants and we would never suspect him. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And that's what people really want to talk about. You know, like it was retaken too vocally by a minority saying, see, it's because he's black. No, we don't care that he's black. That's kind of the problem, but not because he's black. You understand my point, right? It's because he's so different from the local population that he cannot be an assassin. Or if he was, like, it would be far too easy to pin the blame on him. Not because they have proof, but because he's different, and people don't like when you're different, right? That's the society as a whole. So, that's the controversy about Assassin's Creed. Again, that's this controversy about putting black people in an environment they don't fit in. That really depends on the context. If it's well written, it works. Like, for instance, I didn't have any problem with The Little Mermaid. Because mermaids are not real. So she can be black, she can be a rainbow color. I don't care. No one ever seen a mermaid. And if you've seen a mermaid, easy on the drugs, mate. This joint that you smoked, bit too strong. That's it. To go back to my original point, because I like to digress, you can make inclusive game which would be very well received as long as it's made cleverly. If you do something which insults people just by the base stupidity of it, it will not work. It will just bring white old billionaire leading a country because people are like, not this shit again. And you know, at some point you're like, yes, that was pretty shit, but that was not the message behind it, right? I agree with you. We are completely going back 40 years back. Because people are vocal about the wrong thing, or they are vocal about the right thing done very wrong. So I'm not trying to be philosophical there, right? But I'm sure, I don't have an example in my mind. If you have one, please tell me. But I'm sure that you have some Brokeback Mountain, right? That's can you say gay movie now, or LGBTQ movie? Which was acclaimed from being a fantastic movie. No one was pointing it at it, right? If you don't like to see a gay movie, you just don't go to see a gay movie. That's fine. But other than this fact, the movie itself is really good. It's very nice. I'm sure you have other projects with LGBTQ, different color, whatever, which are very well made. And because they are very well made, nobody talk about it. And that's what's wrong. You just talk about the stuff which is made wrong. I remember there was a Black Cleopatra at some point. Was it accurate or not? I'll be honest, I don't think it was, because Cleopatra is of Greek descendancy. And Greeks are not the most colored people, in my mind at least. Another thing done completely wrong. You have to put a context. How do you think that, say, African, I don't know, let's say Nigeria or Congo, you make, because this, we never talk about it, and that's a shame. But before colonization by the French, in English, etc., there was some very powerful kingdom in Africa, even before the slave trade, because these kingdoms used to sell slaves to the white people to make money to start continuing their own war. But let's take this apart. Put this away. Sorry. There was some very strong kingdoms in Africa that would be great to make sure about it, because we never talk about it, right? I'm telling you that you can't name one African kingdom pre-colonization. And because I can't, and I'm really like, I don't want to call myself an history buff, but I love history, and I don't even have one in my mind. But imagine we talk about one of these kingdom in deep Africa where people are black because, remember the sun and everything, that's normal. Imagine something like this, and you put white people, like complete whitewash the cast. How would you react? Or not talk about white people, let's put, I don't know, Native American or Asian to represent this black emperor guy or king. That wouldn't work. Not because of his, not because he's not accurate, but actually exactly because he's not accurate. He doesn't have anything to do there. We're talking about a kingdom in Congo. I want to see a big black guy as a king. And anything other than that is just plain stupid. And it doesn't work. And it's going to spark controversy. And that's the whole problem with Netflix shows these days. And that's the whole problem about people doing, not that shit again. Because it's shit. You have to say it like it is. So you want to talk about inclusiveness. You want to... That's fine. Just do it cleverly. Don't just spew some random crap on the screen, which is just going to have the opposite effect because it pisses off people. It's 101, it's basic. And yeah, not a lot of people. It's a lot of money to make this show, right? As long as you put money in a show and invest your time, do it right. Please tell me in the comment that I'm going too far, that I just say stupid stuff, because I'm sure I'm spewing stupid stuff and you have hundreds of counter-arguments. But I'd be interested, as long as, of course, we are being polite civil. And well written. Exactly, well civil. But please, Corinne, give me your other side of this, because that's what...
I think we spent 36 minutes on this already, so we should move on a little bit, I think.
But technically, that's my second story, right?
Yes.
The Assassin's Creed story. I only have one left after.
But no, because I want to get through. You have one more, right? I have two more as well. Yeah. So I will move on, because you and I, and if Adam was here, we could have made this like an ultra long podcast. Yes.
Hours.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. And if you want to see more, please like and subscribe, and tell us in the comments you want to see more of us arguing about this.
And we could, because like that's one of the things I discovered this year is like, you do short videos or you do ultra long videos is what people want, and ultra long as in more than 2 hours. So like the 1 hour thing is not the thing anymore. It's either you go super long or you go short, like 15-20 minutes, like what Adam did with his video.
Super long.
Okay, my second story is the failure of Skull and Bones. Right. People love pirates. People love pirate games. People love like the last few Assassin's Creeds after Black Flag they loved, the ship action. I loved it on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I didn't play Black Flag. I regret not playing it because I've heard the ship fighting was really awesome. And I read the story behind this. After Black Flag, Ubisoft was like, oh my God, people like playing pirates. People like playing on boats. And let's make a game about it. And let's put in $600 million. And then it failed. As of looking at this data, right? When I created this script was probably about earlier this week. Skull and Bones only has 3,000 players on Steam, right? That's pretty bad for $600 million, right? Now, there are probably a lot of reasons why this game failed. I'm a big person who's against PvP and the insane inclusion of PvP in freaking every single game. They're like, yes, if we make a PvP game, it will sell. And I'm like, yeah, you can just make a PvE game and it will sell too. Look at freaking Warframe. Warframe started off with PvE and it's over 10 years and it kept going, right? You don't have to have, this doesn't have to be like every single MMO, or it doesn't have to be World of Warcraft. But yeah, Ubisoft decided to go that way. Looking at it, right, it was like, there were lots of fun clips, right? If you go on Instagram, you go on YouTube, you go on Facebook, you just watch the Skull and Bones videos. Eventually you'll see a bunch of fun videos of people rating each other, and it's a lot of laughs and stuff. But you can imagine, right, you like in any game that has a PvP, right, especially the kind of PvP where you lose your stuff. You're in a ship, you did all this hard work with your friends, right? You're busy middle-aged gamers like Antoine and I, right? And Antoine even being more busier because he has family. And you spend all this time, and after 100 hours, you gather this beautiful ship, you have all this cool gear and weapons, and one day, you're like, hey, what's that coming around the corner? Oh no, they want to raid us. Oh no, we can't run away. Oh no, our ship is destroyed. Oh no, all our gear is lost. 120 hours gone. Game deleted, you'll never buy it. You'll never buy a game like this ever again. And I think this is probably not the controversy many of you are imagining when it comes to Skull and Bones, but to me, this was the controversy. Large budget, insistence on PvP, with no like safe zones like you typically had in some MMOs, right? Where like, yeah, if you play in this area, you're gonna be safe. Nope, none of that in Skull and Bones. It's just free for all the time, 24 hours a day. And then we have 3,000 players 1 week earlier. So that are my thoughts. Anton, I don't know if you have anything else to add about Skull and Bones.
Couple of things. So first of all, Helldiver is PvE as well, and it's working very well because we don't have to kill each other. We have beautiful Taminids and bots to kill, and we are very happy with it. And I think that's one of the best multiplayer games that I ever played, because I hate playing against people, because other people are always far stronger than me, and I don't take pleasure in getting killed for no reason. I think Black Ops is working well, but like some people are very into multiplayer war games or League of Legends, of course, with Arcane. Video upload stalled. I think we have an issue. There is the problem uploading the video files. I can keep talking.
It's still recording on my end, so I haven't seen any warnings yet.
Might be my network connection. I hope it's fine. But crossing fingers. So I was mentioning Helldiver. What else?
Yeah, you said Helldivers, and
yes,
go ahead.
No, that's fine. Well, there's this, so PvE works very well. And I think I was mentioning Black Ops, and I was mentioning League of Legends with Arcane, right? Because they're great games, and I understand that you like PvP. Not my cup of tea. It really pissed me off. And I understand why League of Legends, the community is so toxic, because that's the nature of the game, right? But moving away from this. Also, I think we have the same problem here in Skull and Bones that we have with Concord, in the fact that it must have been made, or at least sort of, and created in the great Johnny Depp Pirates of Caribbean era, when pirate movies and pirate games were all the hype, and when you arrive after the wagon, right? Even the Pirates of Caribbean movie, really, like the fifth one, was unwatchable almost for me. At some point, you get tired of it. And I mean, even Marvel superhero movies, which were all the hype for 20 years almost, right? Each time there's one released nearly every year still, I think. Who's gonna watch it in cinema now? Apart from the very big cinema buffs. who was a big Marvel fans. Each of them is, oh, this one flop even more than the last one. You know, like, oh, the Marvels did worse than Thor 4, which did worse than extra, etc. It's not the hype anymore. So when you arrive after the hype is gone, good luck selling your game. Because at this time, Pirate is not the thing. And what is the thing these days? I would have said Cyberpunk, but that's passing as well. All the steampunk with Frostpunk, it didn't work well. But because the game has some problems, so Frostpunk 2 is compared to Frostpunk 1 is not there. So can't tell you what is the trend right now, but definitely isn't Pirate.
I'll take that. When we move on to your final story.
Yes, final story. Well, I'm going back on what we said already, so that's gonna be very fast, but I'm gonna talk about Harry Potter. Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy, which came out 2024, I think I'm already forgetting it. And let's say it right away, it's a very mid game. It's not a fantastic game. It's a great game as long as you are solving mysteries within Hogwarts, sorry, Poudlard in French. But within the castle, it's really great and everything. Outside, it's really a bunch of mini games which are not that interesting. You know, there's a broom races or there's a string ball games or the bloody Merlin stuff. It's not a fantastic game. That's not a horrible game, right? It's an okay game, but it made controversy because, of course, Harry Potter means J.K. Rowling's, and she said some flowery things about some communities. I will let you see if you don't know about this, but I think everybody knows about that. And so the whole community was like, I think, please correct me if I'm wrong, but because Harry Potter being a franchise and everything, she gets royalty from this game. And because of this, people were like, do not buy this game, J.K. Rowling, this is female Hitler is gonna get money out of it. Do not buy this game. Guess what happened? Everybody bought it. Not because it's a fantastic game, but because everybody talked about it. And going back to what I said before, bad advertisement is still advertisement. And when you scream it everywhere, people will say, I'm anti-society. If people telling me do not buy this game, I'm gonna definitely buy this game. There's people like this, or simply because you're a Harry Potter fan and you just don't care about what Rowling said. But it makes this game far bigger than it really is. Really, because gameplay-wise, bored after your 110 spider or troll, or collecting little pets like a Pokemon. Oh Jesus! I'm starting to remember all the bad thing about Hogwarts Legacy. It's not a fantastic game, and it was blown out of proportion due to controversy. So, if you don't like a game, my 2 cents, don't talk about it. Let it go unnoticed like a Concorde, right? And if you let it go unnoticed, nobody's gonna buy it, because only Potterheads would buy this game. And because of the controversy, a lot more than Potterhead bought this game. And thanks to that, J.K. Rowling made far more money than she would have actually got. So again, all about think before you do something. You want to advertise certain community or something like this, do it right. This Harry Potter definitely was the do not do that. You went completely wrong, and you got the exact opposite effect to what you were trying to get. That's a controversy. That's my 2 cents, and that's what I hope people will think of in the future games that they want to boycott, if they want to boycott. But yeah.
I literally just bought this 1 week ago for my Steam Deck because it is the top. There's like 100 games that Steam tracks for the top played games on the Steam Deck, and this is like in the top 20 or so.
Then that's fine, because I'm pretty sure that you.
Yeah.
No. That's fine, because I'm pretty sure you're not like Adam trying to be a full completionist. If you play the Harry Potter story and just the story, and maybe play 1 or 2 mini games, because actually the kind of ball, like I would call it pétanque in French, but don't. Anyway, if you play the story itself, it's actually quite good. It's fun. It's all the mini games around it which makes it unbearable. But there's some very good take, like the on-demand room. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, right? But the on-demand has some very good thing about it. So it's not a bad game again. You're gonna enjoy it. Just don't lose your time in mini games.
I'm sure I won't. Like I do extra stuff in gaming, like in the first 10 hours or so, and after 10 hours, I'm like, nope, I don't care about this anymore, and done. Cool. On that note, then I'll move on to my final controversy of the year. Oh, dude, by the way, Harry Potter is 2023.
That's fine. We're just talking about controversy. We didn't talk about 2024 controversy.
We did,
or did we?
Actually.
Then let's pretend that it's a 2024.
No, I mean, but it's still like it connects the themes of your story, so it's all good.
Right.
It's all good.
Let's try to find some kind of very weak connection there.
My final story for today is Unity developer fees, which is apparently still an ongoing thing. So this is a story from The Verge, but you might have read about this. I believe Antoine talked about this. I don't know how many episodes ago at some point. It must have been like early, because the story was from like all the way from the beginning of 2024. Basically, the story was, if you didn't hear it, is Unity was going to charge developers who use the Unity engine per game install. So like every time I installed Hollow Knight, which was an example of a Unity game, there was something more relevant to me, but I can't remember it right now. Every time you installed it, like, or reinstalled it, the Unity developer would have to pay a fee, which is bonkers, right? Think how many times, not like, maybe not me or Antoine, right? We don't tend to reinstall game multiple times, but think of like a person like Adam who might play this game and a few months down the line play it again. He's getting better, but still, right? Or some people, right, who don't have a large collection and they might play the same game. Like I watch season 1 to season 7 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine every few years, right? Like that's crazy. So Unity came out with this plan earlier this year. People, of course, went crazy about it, like, no, don't do this. We're going to switch to Epic. And they're like, okay, we're not going to do this, right? But still at the same time, they still haven't come out with like a better plan. They haven't given people confidence to say, hey, developers, while we did this thing this year and we dragged our feet about it, we're going to have this plan and this is what it's going to be. And we're going to commit to this pricing going forward, right? As of the time, again, of me researching the story, right? For Unity, it's $5,000 per person per year. So imagine if you're like a 3-person developer studio, right? That's $15,000 per year, which may not seem like a lot, but if you think of, I played this game and I think about it all the time. I just can't remember the name. It was a cozy collecting dancing game on the Epic it was like a card game. But I remember the lady's name is Rebecca Cordingley and she has like a tiny team, 3 people, right? That's 5K people, right? And compare that to Epic, and Epic is free, right? Now, Epic, again, I'm going to say, the Epic is Epic. There's some stuff there with Tencent and all that sort of stuff, but at the same time, it's hard to beat free. Look at some Unreal 5 games like Wukong, right? Black Myth Wukong. Beautiful game. Looks fantastic, right? And it's just like, Epic is definitely, you can see the number of games as well being launched just on Epic and not on Steam, right? Again, like Epic has the tools. It helps developers out there going and saying, hey, yes, you want to use Epic? You're not familiar with it? No problem. We'll help you out. Unity also laid off some people this year. I feel like Unity is a struggling company. If you're a developer who's thinking about using a game engine like Unity, right, I think you'd think about it twice. Because they have not shown, like, what is the future of Unity, right? We don't know. There's nothing published. And again, they are a struggling company. So of course, they're focusing on the now. But like, if you're making a game in Unity and you're like, is Unity going to be around next year or in 2 years and 3 years time, right? Whereas, Epic is making money. Epic is backed by Tencent. Epic has billions of dollars, right? So, I mean, they filed a lawsuit against Apple, right? So they've got to have lots of money. It's another controversy. I hope, we do have a lot of engines when it comes to game development. That being said, like, it's a shame Unity is on par with Epic, but it looks like it's probably not the choice to go for in 2025, maybe. Any thoughts, Antoine?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because if you haven't checked our weekly quest, I highly suggest that you do. Because lately, Korean has been talking about indie games. Because indie games in there, you have some very good gems. And I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, you talked about Trash Goblin. So that's my example of a Unity game that I would install several times because at this time on Steam it's a demo. So you install a demo, you deinstall the demo, and if you really like it, you buy the full game, which makes at very least 2 install. Unless the demo is not considered a game, I'm not sure how Unity would stand on that. But I tried it. I finished the demo on this one, and that's a Unity game.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Anton, any final thoughts before we end off today's show?
No, I think I said everything I wanted to say. Just again, please, I want you to watch this video, not for the views or anything, but just because I want to have your opinion on this. I think it's a very interesting topic. There's a lot more to be said. So please leave your comments. Come talk with us. Keep it civil, as Korean said. And that's it for me. Oh, yes, sorry. Last show of the year. Merry Christmas.
Oh, this will be after Christmas.
Happy New Year. I'm adaptable. That's fine.
Thanks, guys, for all the support this year as well. Thanks for tuning in. I know we've had a fair number of changes, but keep tuned. Things are always looking up. We're trying to make the best out of the things that we do, and we're passionate about making videos, talking about games, and just being a community for people who are working, who have families, who are just really busy. You want to make the best out of your game time. Middle-aged Gaming is the place that we'd like you to be. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in next week, where all of us should be back from our respective holidays. Adam should be back from the States. I'm pretty sure he should be back. No matter what, Antonio and I will be doing our first live episode of 2025, and you shouldn't miss it. And take care.
Bye-bye.